Welcome back, everyone, to another Coach Blaker's Advanced Guide. Today we're going to be learning where to path to and how do you know where to path to. So I said that backwards. How do you know where to path to and where to path? Look, how do you know where to path to? That's what that's what we're learning today. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a advanced guide. Advanced guides tend to be loaded with information, and so if you do struggle with processing this or you do struggle with applying it to your gameplay, I highly recommend booking yourself a session at coachblaker.com, and we can sit down and talk about it together with your specific champ and your specific play style. It's way easier to improve that way than it is to try to get this boatload of information. So if you do struggle with that, remember coachblaker.com. Now, we're not focusing on Rengar, we're focusing on jungle itself. When I do these guides, they are about the role, not about the champion. So we're looking at it as a role, okay? So let's get into it. All right, so there are three types of pathings. Three types of pathing? Yep, there's three types. So what we have first is kill, right? This is going to be a champion looking to snowball. That's your main goal. I'm just looking to snowball. I'm looking to get kills. That's all I'm looking to do. I'm just looking to get kills. The next type of pathing is assist pathing. Assist pathing is going to be you're just trying to help your team. There's a lane on your team that is going to be the carry, but it's not you. This is when you're typically playing something like Sejuani, Ivern, Rammus. You know, you're not going to be the carry. You know you're not going to be the carry, but you want to play towards the person that's going to win you the game. And so you're going to path a different way. You're going to path to assist rather than to get kills. Then you have counter pathing. And so basically, this one is we're just playing defense. So typically, you have this pathing when all your lanes win, right? So let's just say all my lanes win this game. They don't need help, but the only way they lose lane is if the enemy jungler ganks them. So I'm going to be pathing with this guy to make sure that he can't gank. And if he does try to gank, I'm going to counter gank him. Okay? And then you have the last one where you're going to be just pathing to the enemy champion. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because this one's kind of complicated, but we're going to be pathing to the enemy champion. So basically, this one's going to be us just avoiding. Avoid or kill. So we're going to invade. I'll just put in invade. It's not making it confusing. So invade. The confusing is my drawing, huh? It's horrible. So kill, we're looking to snowball. My champ looking to get kills wherever they can get it. I don't care what lane I'm going to, as long as it's providing me kills, that's where I'm going. Help, I'm looking to benefit my team. I'm looking to get that specific laner ahead so that they can carry my game. So as an example, who's going to carry this game for me is going to be the Varus, right? And then you have the defense. So if all my lanes were winning, I just figure out where this guy is starting, and then I go with him and just counter gank him. Invading, figure out where this guy is starting, and then I path with him so I can just find him in his jungle and kill him. Avoiding is a little bit different. It looks similar. It looks kind of like this. So how it would work is, let's just say this guy is playing Xin Zhao. I just use Xin Zhao because he's an extremely strong jungler early. And then I'm playing like something like Ivern. If I know that he's going to do something like go to my red go to his red into my red, then even if I want to play topside, I have to start topside and then path down. The reason we do this is because we want Xin Zhao to walk in and find not me, not camps, nothing. We want him to waste his time. If you already know you're going against a jungler like this, Vi is another example. They tend to do it a lot. Or they could do something where it's like, well, red into blue into Gromp and then into your jungle. And essentially, it's the same exact thing. I want to start top, and then I want to go bottom. So then you might be thinking, well, how do you play towards top if you're going away from top? That makes no sense, right? So what if my win condition is top, but you're telling me to path down to avoid the enemy jungler, but then how am I going to play towards top? Good question, good question. So what you would do is the goal is to avoid Xin Zhao. The goal is not to path a specific way. It's to avoid him. So your pathing can get very, very wonky. And that's how it works, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. So how you would do it, if we know he's going to start bottom, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our red. And then we're going to go ahead and do our Krugs. And then we're going to go ahead and do our Raptors. And then we're going to go ahead and go to our blue, go to our Gromp, go to our Wolves. And you can either recall, or what you could do is you could just go look for a play middle, look for a play bottom, or look for a play top. Because now when your camps spawn, they're going to spawn in this order, meaning that you can path towards top, right? When you come back, boop, 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 boop. This way, he doesn't really know where you're pathing to. He checked the jungle, didn't see you were there. So you must be pathing down bottom, but then I check your jungle and you're not here, so you're pathing up. What are you doing, right? It's confusing. And that's what you want. You want him confused. All right? So let's go ahead and recap real quick before we move on here. We have 4 types of pathing. We have kill pathing. My champ just wants to kill people. That's all I'm looking for. We have assist pathing. My champ wants to help get a lane ahead so that lane can carry for me. We have counter pathing. This is where my enemy jungler, or this is where the enemy jungler needs to gank a specific lane or gank any lane so that they can end up winning the game. If all my lanes automatically win, I want to make sure that I'm pathing with that jungler to prevent him from, you know, ganking my laners. So we're playing defense. Or if I only have one lane that is going to win, so let's say this is Orianna Zilean, right? And that's K'Sante. These guys aren't going to carry my game. So I need to make sure that I play towards bottom so that I can defend against Shaco. Make sense? And then the last one we have is going to be the enemy. We're pathing to the enemy. So if he's going to invade us a lot, we need to path away from his pathing. If we want to counter gank or invade him, if we want to avoid him, we want to path away from his pathing. If we want to invade him, we path with him and look for him to die and stuff like that. And these type of pathings can change mid-game. I want to say that right now. These types can change based off of what is going to happen. So with this game in particular, I wasn't really playing to get myself a kill. I was playing to help my team. So you might be thinking, well, you're playing Rengar, a snowballing champion. Why would you not go for kills? Well, I am looking for kills. Don't get me wrong. But I also want to make sure that I don't put all my eggs in one basket. There's a lot of things going around with champions like Rengar, Kha'Zix, Zed, Katarinas, whatever. There's a lot. There's a superiority complex attached to the League community when you're dealing with some champions like this. And so a lot of the times you'll hear things like, you know, F everybody, I'm the win condition, I'm going to carry, blah, blah, blah. And every role has it. It's not just jungle. Every role has champions like that. And unfortunately, it makes the game very unfun because you have someone who doesn't want to help, or you have someone who doesn't want to play with the team. The issue with this is unless you're smurfing, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you don't carry that game, you have 4 useless teammates on your team. And this is why you always feel like your team is useless. It's because you're putting yourself in a position to have your team be useless. I don't think my team is useless until they prove me otherwise. Then I will change my perspective. So that's what we're doing going into this game. My pathing is going to be pathing towards bottom because I know there's not going to be a lot of kills top lane. Why? Because these two champs don't typically fight that often. Gwen has Ignite, but she's a very passive laner, and K'Sante again is a very passive laner. The only way this guy dies is if he gets ganked. And in which case, I'm not going to play and path towards you because you're probably going to get ganked. You want to path towards the game, not the players. Whether you're in bronze, silver, gold, whatever. You never want to path towards players. You always want to path towards the game itself. All right, so let's go ahead and roll. Also, this thing is super loud to me. Again, if any of those things made no sense, book a session at CoachBlaker.com and we can sit down together and go over it. So, we're going to start top, as I said before. Shaco honestly should be starting top 2, so that way he can play towards bottom. There's really no reason for him to play towards top, but a lot of junglers, no matter the elo, tend to always go up, which is why I want to try to make this video. So bot lane already ended up dying, unfortunately. I believe this game my whole entire team, fed. My whole entire team just did horribly bad. But the right calls is how we won. This is just a random game I decided to pick, but I'm just trying to remember what happened this game. So we're just pathing down bottom. Obviously, things are happening mid, but I don't want to ruin my pathing. It's very bad if you ruin your pathing. So here's what happens when you ruin your pathing, right? I'm gonna just throw out random numbers. I don't really remember the time that camp spawned, to be honest with you. I think it's like 2:15. Could be 2:30. I don't pay too much attention. Could be 2 minutes flat. I honestly don't pay too much attention to it, but that's something you don't really have to worry about. The thing you have to pay attention to is the first camp. So if I started to path from top to bottom, as long as I know when this is going to spawn, obviously everything else will follow suit. So you don't need to be like, oh, well, this is gonna spawn, this is gonna spawn, this is gonna spawn. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't think that deep into it, because it's gonna make your games extremely hard. As long as you just know when your first one's gonna spawn. And there's a lot of good apps that actually do it for you, so it really isn't much of an excuse. But the reason why we don't want to ruin our pathing is because we don't want this to spawn at 2, and then this to spawn at like 3, and then this to spawn at like 3:15, right? And then this to spawn at 4. Because then you're going to be waiting for this to spawn, and then you're going to be waiting for this, and then you're going to wait for this, and it's going to throw you all off. And what this is going to do is it's going to make you do some really weird pathing and plays because your camps aren't spawning properly. The easiest way to think about it is I'm a train. Okay? Trains do not stop. They do, I mean, I'm troll. They don't stop. Trains do not make U-turns. That's what I meant to say. Trains pretty much just go in a line, and then once they're done, then they jet back, usually. They do not do this. Doesn't make sense. So why would you do that with your pathing? Right? And so when you are pathing, there's a rule of thumb that I want you to follow. The 20-80 rule. You spend 80% of your time on one side, and you spend 20% of your time on the other side. Okay? So here's what it looks like. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Whoa! That's not what it looks like. We'll zoom out a little bit more. Here's what it looks like, okay? So, if I'm a train, chugga, chugga, chugga. It sounds like I'm teaching a 4-year-old. I don't... chugga, chugga, chugga. I'm sorry. I'm such a troll. Okay, but we're a train, right? If I had to make a stop towards top before I do Krugs, I can. Why? Because I'm not... I didn't make it a destination yet. I'm just chilling. We're just getting on. But once I do this, do my Krugs, and I'm on down here, you better have a really good reason for me to make a jet stop up there, because most likely I'm not doing it. This is if he's about to get dove. This is if he's about to die and he's running to you. It's something that has to be really, really important. It is not you about to force a gank. It is not him being shoved up under a tower. It has nothing to do with that. You are going to gank that lane specifically because he needs you. If you want to look for a play, you do it before Krugs and look for your play. Nothing happens, go farm. Because we do not want you to get off of Krugs and have this spawn 4 minutes later, and this spawns 2, so well, 2 minutes later, not 4 minutes later. Because the next time you come back, you're gonna have your camps, and then you're gonna force yourself to look for a play, or you're gonna skip that raptor and it's gonna spawn, and then you're gonna have to come back. It's just so inefficient. So do not put yourself in that spot, okay? If you're going to look for a gank or a play, do it before you do your first camp. After that, the only time you're going to that spot on that 20 side is if they need you to rotate. Other than that, you continue to path. It sucks. They're going to be mad at you, but as a jungler, you cannot play 3 lanes. This is why we say the 20-80 rule. This also means we're not looking for invades. We're not looking to counter jungle, because 80% of our time should be down here. So that's where we're looking to invade, counter jungle, do dragons, whatever. That's where most of our time should be, okay? Again, I know it's complicated, but book that session. It becomes a lot more simple, and it's way faster than just trying to learn all this on your own. And I can look at your specific champion individually rather than have a kind of a broad aspect of it. We can know exactly what your champ wants to do. So, after we're doing our pathing, we go here. So we can make our stop before, we're done. Okay, so we can make a stop here, maybe go here, whatever you want to do. After our raptors, before our raptors, depends. We can make a stop here on our way to the wolves. We can make our stop before the wolves. We can then go to wolves. We can go to our Gromp. Then we can make a stop after Gromp. We can make a stop, this way too. So this is pretty much what it would look like if you were to gank after your camp. The reason why it's okay to gank after raptors here, because you might be thinking, well, aren't you skipping a camp? Because then you have to go to the wolves. Right? If I were to do my raptors and then I gank, aren't I skipping a camp to like go this way? No. You're not, because the only thing you're doing is you're doing it on the way to your destination. So if I do my raptors and I go for a gank and then I go to my wolves, or even if I go to crab and then go to my wolves, I'm still in the line of my train. Does that make sense? We're still on that path. So think about that when you're going for your plays. So that was a lot, wasn't it? Now that we got that down pat, let's just recap so that way we know exactly what we're talking about here. All right, so we have the 80-20 rule. I want to spend 80% of my time on one side and 20% of my time on the other. I do not want to gank that 20% side unless it's before the first camp. Otherwise, I'm rotating, and it better be a really good reason to pull me off of some camps to go help you. We continue to path down and get to our bot side. This is where we want to make all the invades happen. This is where we want to make all the plays happen. We want to make all the plays happen on this side because that's where we're spending most of our time. Got it? Got it. Cool. So, let's continue to watch. Let's continue to watch. Oh yeah, and if you skip a camp, of course, and it spawns at a weird time, you're going to just ruin your whole pathing, and you're going to make your game extremely hard. So don't do that. Don't do that. All right, so we're coming to look for a play here. You can do this as any jungler. I'm just playing Rengar, but it works with any jungler. And you're being patient because you don't want to go for a gank and force it if they don't start fighting first. It's a lot harder for them to disengage if they are already fighting your team. That's something that I want a lot of junglers to really take note of, is if you're going to go for a gank, try to make sure that the laners are already fighting, they're already in an altercation, so that way you can go for it. When that happens, it's even easier for you to walk over wards. So if I were to gank that bot lane, right, and let's just say this is warded, it's a lot easier to walk over the ward if they are already fighting, because then you have to pay attention to the map as well as paying attention to their fight. So it's better that we wait. The reason why I came this way was because I was assuming this was warded. How do I know this was warded? Well, prior, the lane was up pushed to here. If they're shoving in my team, there's most likely going to be a ward here or here or here, because they're overextended. So there's most likely going to be a river ward, right? So that's why I pathed that way. When you're going for ganks, you want to assume there's wards placed based off the positioning of the players. Keep that in mind, because it will help you get a lot of successful ganks off. Why does Rengar look so small? Is it because I'm this far away? Maybe that is what it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go towards middle after we got crab. Me sitting in that bush, by the way, wasting time, isn't really wasting time. You might be thinking, well, why? You sat there forever. All you did was waste time. It wasn't wasting time because my camps were spawning. When you path properly, you have time to sit and kind of relax for a second to see and read the map, because your stuff is spawning. So if you recall, if you die, whatever happens, it's okay because your camps are coming back. Keep that in mind. This is why pathing is important. It allows you to get much more done. So I was looking for a play to be made here. I'm pretty sure I whiffed this mechanically. Yeah, a lot of Rengars would be like rolling around in their chair right now, or grave, whatever. Okay, not grave. I'm hoping you guys are alive, Rengar players. But that was a mechanical flop. Now I know how to play Rengar, but I'm not a mechanical Rengar god. I don't spend that much that much time on the champion. But it doesn't matter how you play your champion. It matters how you play the game. This is why it does not matter about your mechanics, and this is why a lot of players that have good mechanics don't climb, because it doesn't matter. But we did get that kill. But we got that kill because I pathed properly, right? I did my line. I sat in my bush. Nothing happened. I didn't force. I went to the crab, and then I seen a play. If I would have forced that play, we wouldn't have gotten that kill mid. And if I would have pathed weirdly, we wouldn't have gotten that kill mid once again. So this is why pathing is important. And I wouldn't have died, and I would have gotten a free kill if I just played that mechanically. It's down. So, you know, we would have been like netting right here. I wasn't too worried about it though, because I knew I can use that kill way better than the Shaco could, just because I feel like I'm a better player. I believe this is a game where like everybody does really, really bad. I think I said that already, but I think this is a game where like everybody does pretty awful. All right. So you might be thinking, well, why didn't you go bottom? But that doesn't make any sense. What you just said, you want to path like down as a train, and it doesn't make U-turns. You're right. But also remember that key thing that I said before. I specifically said during the game, your pathing may need to change, right? And so this specific play here has me really, really low. Now, like I said, you know, well, maybe I didn't say it, but I'll say it now. I have really good awareness. Like, I tend to have a heightened sense of everything happening. The reason why I knew something could be crazy is because I seen this vision plant get popped, right? I see the little thing pop, and I'm like, okay. So in my head, Shaco's not here, but I can't really fight you 1v1. But what I'm thinking is because Shaco hit that plant, he's probably going to invade me. My bot lane is pushed up. So if I walk into this and they seen that fight and they seen how low I was, I die. So I have to avoid him. So I have to play the avoid jungler. I want to play bottom, but I can't right now because I have to avoid the enemy jungler at this point. That makes sense? I even pinged my team that he'd be there. Now, unfortunately, this guy did not play as smart as he should have played. And he's here. So I do end up dying here. It is what it is. It happens. I'm still 2-2. So it's not too bad. As I said, my whole entire team's kind of struggling. But it's okay. We can continue to do our thing. By this point, though, I noticed my... First of all, why would you have a Sylas support? But I noticed my Sylas 0 and 3. And I noticed that everybody on my team was just having a hard game. So I went from the assist pathing to the enemy pathing to avoid Shaco, and now I'm on to the kill pathing. I need kills so I can carry everybody. That makes sense? Are you following me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All right, so now I'm pathing to get kills. I don't even care. So this guy just like, I already knew he was coming. I seen him on wards, so this is just mad free. And the game was over at this point. Like, because I turned on my carry mindset this guy just threw. And then I just pick up a free kill here. And now, again, we're pathing towards bottom. We got to kill there. We got to kill here because we're making our way towards bottom. I'm not looking for a play top. I'm not looking for a Rift Herald. I'm playing 2080. I continue to play bot side. So I'm pathing bottom. That's what secured me that kill. It wasn't because I seen it was free. I was still continuing my train path, and he happened to be in that crappy spot at that moment. So I'm going to head to look for, I think, a bot play. No, I tracked him because I realized that his level was lower. So he wasn't 6, which means he wasn't farming. And I also realized he didn't have red buff. So this means his red buff was up. So I took that to my advantage. And now I'm playing the enemy pathing of invading, right? So we went from assist to avoid to kill to invade. This is the type of thing that makes a jungler a great jungler. The ability to adapt to your situation. Could you have started off with the invade? Yes, if I were a Rengar one-trick mauling my enemy jungler type player, I would do that. But that's just not my style of play. And this is why I said it's better to book a session if you're struggling, because sometimes certain styles don't fit your style and you might need to play differently. It doesn't mean you can't play that champion. It just means you have to play a different way to fit your needs or to fit your specifications as a player. So we get the free kill there. We look for a dragon, I believe. No, we don't. What do we do? Okay, we go clear. And so now we're clearing up. You might be thinking, why didn't you get dragon? Well, my mid laner was dead. I think that's the only thing that I was thinking about. My mid laner was dead, and Lucian was coming back, and it didn't feel like a right time. Actually, I thought Lucian was coming to kill me. I don't know. I don't think it was worth. I think I would rather have this Rift Herald, because we're so behind that we need gold. I'd just rather have the Rift Herald right now. So we're pathing towards top. So now what are we doing? Why would you path up when you should be pathing? What's going on? Now you're changing your path into something totally different. This is going to happen. So you have early game, right? You have early to mid game. This is the transition period to that, to mid game. And then you have mid/late game, right? Early game, you're pathing towards lanes. Once the laning phase is about to commence, usually about 13 to 15 minutes, once it's about to, be over with, then after that, you're going to have to path a little differently. Differently? What do you mean? Yep, you have to path differently. Now we're pathing to, once we kind of do this whole block here, now we path to objectives. Holy, my artwork is atrocious. Early game, we're pathing towards lanes. Early to mid, and then of course mid and late game, we are pathing towards objectives. At this point, I want that Rift Herald. So I have to change my pathing to go up so I can get that Rift Herald. So that's what I'm doing. And you want to continue to do your pathing. Now, this is just something simple. I recalled so I can be as strong as possible. When you are a carry champion, or even if you're not a carry champion, tanks can do a lot of damage early. You want to make sure you're backing on as much gold as possible. Like, you want to back kind of frequently and on as much gold as possible. That way you can go ahead and perform kills and whatnot and be tanky and all that good stuff. So I noticed they're kind of overextended here, and it was just way too free. It was just way too free. So they got the tower. And I wouldn't have, if my pathing was just a little off there, if I went to that dragon, I wouldn't have gotten those 2 kills. If I would have went to Raptors or tried to get that kill there without like actually backing first, I wouldn't have got those kills because I had to be strong enough. I had to buy. He didn't have his items yet, I don't think. Yeah, see, they didn't have their items, but I bought. I'm strong. I have a full finished item. Let's go. And I'm level 8. He's level 6. He's level 8. He's half HP. Like, there's no way. But it would have been a lot harder if I didn't secure my gold by, you know, I didn't secure my items by spending my gold. So now we're going to go to Rift Herald. All this happened because I was pathing towards the right lane. I mean, not the right lane, I'm sorry. Pathing the right way. That's it. Pathing the right way puts me in a position to be able to carry this game. So we're going to go ahead and drop this Rift. Just random stuff happening. I'm just looking for kills. Nothing really to explain there. Again, just kind of looking for kills. Just rotations. Simple rotations. All right, now we want to go ahead and go to Dragon. That's where we want to be. Now, we do get the Dragon here. I play this really bad. I'm not going to lie. My mechanics were... It wasn't even my mechanics. My brain just turned off. It was really strange what happened. I don't know. We skipped. Anyway, we got Dragon. Problem solved. Job done. Good job. Now we're going to path up. Why? Because Baron's going to spawn soon. Right, so you want to be in a position to get Baron if that were to happen. So we're going to path upwards. This is why we started bottom. Also, you want to look for a play bottom as well. But, I mean, just pathing the right way is going to get you in the right spot most of the time anyway. So, of course, we wait for the enemy to go in, and then we go in ourselves. Doesn't matter if I'm playing Rengar. It's the same concept if you're playing any jungler. You wait for them to commit, and then you can go in to get those freebies. Our goal as a jungler is just to break these towers, get them open. And now we're pathing towards top. Again, Baron spawning. So we want to path towards top. Be on that side. Then we have another play happening. All because we're pathing the right side. We're pathing to the right objective. If there was no play happening and this same exact play was happening down here, this could be a Baron for us for free. If there is a play up here, we can get the kills and maybe get Baron. Y'all didn't see that. I went invisible and then I pressed W on accident. I thought I leaped, but I didn't, so I broke my thing. I think I got obliterated though. Oh, not Baron. I'm sorry, Rift Herald. You guys are probably like, what? It's only 17 minutes. Yeah, it's pathing towards Rift. My bad, not Baron. Pathing towards Rift Herald because it was spawning. If they weren't there, we get a free Rift. If they were there, we wouldn't. Period. So now we're trying to make our way towards Drag. Why? Because it's spawning. We didn't have enough time to path towards Dragon, but we had enough time to walk to it. And this is why it's important you spend all your gold. This is why it's important that you have all those items in the bank. Because if you don't have your items, you're not going to be able to pull off any of this. And it's not a Rengar thing. It's every jungler in the game. If you have your items, you are a lot more tanky. You have a lot more damage. You are very hard to deal with as a jungler because you back more often. You should realistically back more often as a jungler than laners would. So you can get a lot of freebies. I don't know what that heal was about. So we go ahead and push. And every kill that I've gotten has just been off of pathing properly. I wanted to help my bot lane, but they proved that they weren't good enough, and so, you know, stuff happened. I think Varus just got a kill, but he was 1-4. My support was 1-9 or 1-8 at that point. My mid laner is 1-7. Like, it's bad. I get killed there because I didn't know it was worded. I griefed. Happens. Happens. All right, and now we're going to go top. Why? Because Baron's up there, but also we want to look to path down to get to the Dragon, right? We want to spend 80% of our time down here because Dragon's spawning. So we want to path towards bottom. I'm going to give my red because I don't want to be a butthole. Shaco was there. We kill the Shaco. We go on and we kill everybody else. And at that point, I noticed Yasuo was bottom, so I said it's a free Baron. Let's get it. Why? Because we pathed the right way. It has nothing to do with anything. We're just pathing the proper directions. That's it. We're just pathing the right way and we're just getting kills for it. We're getting kills because we're pathing properly. It's that easy. You can do it. Now we're pathing the dragon, except the difference is we're invade pathing instead of pathing on our own side, but it's the same concept. The same exact concept. And this is how easy it is when you're in control of your game. It becomes a lot harder when you're not in control, but if you can be in control, it's very easy. But the reason why this was so easy was because I was able to alter my pathing on the fly. That is what makes a good jungler, being able to adapt. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. And you'll notice this when you watch your favorite streamers or you watch pro players. Sometimes they have to adapt. They can't really do what they want to do a lot of the times. So at this point, I mean, it's kind of just we're trying to finish the game out. I think we just end up winning here. This is not really a jungle thing. I mean, I guess it is. I'm still looking to path. So I guess at this point in group phase, I didn't really say this, but I will say this. In group phase, you want to look to path. Or that's hard. You're not really looking to path to it, but you're looking to farm around the action. So if my team is here, I want to path up and be in this vicinity so that way I can rotate if need be. I don't want, if my team's here, I don't want to come out and do this because I'm going to be down here and then I have to jet towards top. So what we would do is we would kind of half path. We'd come out, start Raptors if our team's here pushing or something, and maybe we go here and then, you know, do your thing like that. So this is why you see me kind of do a weird pathing there, because I was starting to path towards my team. So I guess it's not really weird, but I'm pathing this way so that way I can be around if something pops off. That makes sense? All right, cool. Cool beans. And the game's just over at this point. So, what is our final score of our team? 312, 26, 19, 87. And K'Sante only really did well. He was good. I think he was a good player to work with. I'm not going to lie. The rest of them, I think they were just like booming, and so they didn't perform well at all. But let's recap real quick. Again, this is not because I was playing Rengar, it's because I was making the right choices. Keep that in mind. So, the types of pathing that we have kill pathing, we have assist pathing, we have counter pathing, we have enemy pathing. Okay? Kill pathing is my champ wants to snowball. Assist champ pathing is my champ wants to help my lane get ahead so it can carry me. Counter is I'm just trying to make sure that the enemy jungler can't kill my laners. Enemy is you're trying to avoid or you're trying to invade. If we're trying to avoid, we path differently and we path away. If we're trying to invade, we path with them and try to find them. Mid to late game. So early game, you're pathing towards lanes. Right? And then early to mid / mid late, we want to go ahead and path towards objectives. Once grouping starts to happen, we want to path towards the group. Okay? So I hope this helped. Again, if you struggle with any of this, if you struggle with applying any of these concepts, this is an advanced guide and it's supposed to have a lot of knowledge in here. Highly recommend you book a session so we can look at your specific champion, and a lot of this can get shaved down to mold your champion. This is just a very broad overview of everything, but working with your specific champion, it will be a lot easier for you to understand what you should be doing and how to impact your games at a high level. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. If you guys got any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to let me know. Join my Discord if you would like, or let me know in the comments below and I can get to them. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Until next time, know what I always say. Thank you for what? Approaching this like a coach.